Yeah, buddy. Welcome on the show, my guy, Erik Kelley. What up, EK? How you doing, baby?
Doing good. How about you, Sean?
You know me, man. Always high energy, ready to go, baby.
I hear you. I hear you. I see the Michigan fan taking shots already.
Hey, I take the shots out of respect. That's all. That's all that is.
Man, oh man, look. And I'm glad we got you on here. We've been doing our breakdowns, our team analysis, and everything that I've been hearing. Really quick, I want to say this: everything that I've been hearing is Notre Dame isn't what they used to be. Notre Dame is, they can get to the CFP, they can win 10 games, but they can't seem to get over the top. Talk to those people right now. Why should we believe in this team this year, and why are they any different from what we've seen before?
Well, I mean, that's an easy question. Or easy answer for you. The difference between now and 2018, 2019 is this little quarterback that used to play down the road from your school. Sam Hartman. We were quite limited in the past 2 years, whether injury or just the play of the quarterback with Drew Pine. He was just very limited in the shots he would take or some of the decisions he would make. And now we have the ACC's all-time touchdown leader. I'm pushing it for us. So that's the biggest reason. You look back to the two playoff runs, both times, same thing. Ian Book, loved the guy. He was great for what he was, but he wasn't getting the ball around. It was using his legs a lot. He'd make plays in a moment, but he couldn't make plays consistently throughout a game. So otherwise, there's a few concerns here or there. But I'm super stoked about this team specifically because of the offense this year. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. Look, and before we get into the Sam Hartman, because I love him. I want to talk about him. Let's talk to me about Marcus Freeman. He came in, he had to fill mighty big shoes. Brian Kelly had a rough start, but then I think one of the big games y'all played against us and were able to shut down or, at least contain Drake May. Y'all had a great one in that victory. And then it started to really click after that. This is his next year. He's got his feet more planted. How are you feeling about this? What are your expectations from him with now all these new weapons?
Oh, absolutely. Kind of what you said as far as the rough start to the year. That was really telling how he was able to recapture. It is, but able to recapture the team and grab the momentum, because that was it was a gross start to the year. And then the UNC game came around and some momentum started getting built up, but I think he was finding his way and what he needed to implement in his team. He had very wide kind of goals and motivation as far as here's what we're going to do week to week, and it was different every week. And then all of a sudden he dialed it back, said, we're just going to focus on getting better, get back to fundamentals, hitting, and all this. Yeah, I don't know if you can still hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
You still got me. So, but not just that. The recruiting is down a different aisle. That was his line all the time. And to a degree, it is down a different aisle for sure. But Marcus Freeman was set for. He loaded up the last 2 defensive classes before this year. He is doing it on offense this year. I got 2 shots at Alex. One is we stole that legacy quarterback for 2024 out of your backyard, Mr. CJ Carr. So we're pretty excited about that. And then
we got a better quarterback. Just saying.
And then coming down with the Justin Scott battle. It's going to be Notre Dame, Michigan. It looks like. So
I'm excited to watch how that one.
He's going toe to toe, and he's jumping into Texas. Yeah. Same. It feels like we've been the leader in and out for the last few months, and then a new team swipes in, and now Michigan's the one that's the one we're fearing. So, and of course, it's our old D-line coach who's doing it. So, we'll see. Yeah, but a great energy. Seems like an amazing man. He really seems to care about the kids. If you paid attention to any sports, ACC women's basketball, the lacrosse, baseball, he's going to every sporting event he can. Hockey games, you name it. So he's super exciting, and he's something we haven't had in a long time. So I'm very stoked about Marcus Freeman.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you kind of jumped into it there a little bit with the recruiting, that kind of stuff. But let's focus on the team this year. Who's kind of the main core of this team? Whether it's, I mean, we already jumped on Sam Hartman there a little bit, but whether it's returning players, transfers, or incoming recruits, who's kind of the main guys you're looking at for this year's team?
Are you with us? Looks like you froze a little bit.
Oh,
yep.
I was like, maybe.
It was like, I saw it. It's a fight through. All right. We will wait. We will get our guy EK Holiday back. But yeah, I mean, we know about Sam Hartman. I think it was great what he was talking about with the recruits, because a lot of people do sleep on that fact. Those defenses of the last couple of years have been really, really amazing. And hold up, here we go.
Sorry about that. I switched over my phone. Yeah. It was a little laggy for me. So where did we leave off?
All right. So you started off talking into the recruiting. Obviously, we talked Sam Hartman, some transfers, that kind of stuff. But who are the main core guys this year for this team? Who are you looking at to kind of lead the way?
Yeah, if we take the Hartman out of the equation and just look at what's returning from the previous year, Sean, you got a firsthand experience of Audric Estime. That dude is a monster. Logan Diggs snuck down to LSU, but pretty excited about the 2 guys backing Estime up as well. And then fourth guy is a Penn State running back that just jumped in. The offensive line, Joe Alt, likely top 10 pick next year.
I would lock that in,
Yeah. Blake Fisher, he's going to be a heck of a player. Might take a year, 2 years before he gets his turn, but he's definitely a second, third rounder at worst. And then a fifth-year senior at center. So those are kind of the anchors of what's coming back. The wide receiver room has taken a giant jump forward. So Chris Tyree, electric playmaker, doesn't always get the chance to make plays, but he's moving into the slot. So he's going to have a couple of years here, see what he can do there with that COVID year. From the spring reports, nobody could cover him. So that's pretty enticing.
In the spring.
Trust me. Hey man. Well, I've got lots of
Sam Hartman's just getting used to him. That's the big problem. Nobody could cover him, and Sam's just getting used to him.
It's true.
And Tobias Merriweather. He was injured a good chunk of the end of the season, but expecting him to take off now that we have a pretty good quarterback. Tight ends, I'm not worried about. All we do is throw them out there, and they end up, everyone who started a game for us ends up playing in the NFL.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
You've seen it. Look right there. Let me stop there real quick, because you had a guy, a solid, a credible talent in Michael Mayer. How do you replace that? I mean, is it a couple guys? Like what? It's
your wide receivers. You don't replace the tight end like that. You hope someone can supplement it a little bit. Mitchell Evans, he was quite good for us last year, but again, Michael Mayer was our entire receiving core last year.
Yeah.
Everybody knew where the ball was going, and he still did his thing. So the only way to make up for it is we got to spread the ball around, and some of these receivers got to jump into this and take grasp of it, or else we're in trouble. There's no doubt about that. Defensively, there's a number of guys. We got transfer defensive end from Ohio State. He was kind of a role player for them, but Baptiste, we're hoping, we're hoping he's going to come in and get some run. Jordan Batella, he's a bit of a head case, but sometimes you like those going after the quarterback.
Between the lines,
line,
right?
Yeah.
Controlled chaos.
Yeah. Defensive line has a lot of talent, but there's a lot of unproven guys right now. Linebacker, loaded with experience, good quality players, but they're also not the elite playmakers that you would hope for. So there are a couple guys that are, waiting in the wings, and hopefully they take some spots. But they need to win it outright, and to beat a fifth-year senior who, that's tough.
Yeah.
The safety is looking a lot better than it was, but our starting safeties are former starting corner and a former starting receiver. Or not starting receiver, former backup corner, former backup receiver. They did pretty well last year overall, but so our hope is with those two, Xavier Watts and Ramon Henderson, and then hoping that super senior DJ Brown, Maryland guy, can throw something in there, as well as big time transfer, which is funny to say, from Rhode Island. Yep. When that's
the pipeline.
That's scary when you're saying big time transfer from Rhode Island. But supposed to be a heck of a player, so hoping at least he can, kind of add some depth there. And then Cam Hart, outstanding corner. But then the dude is Benjamin Morrison. He is no joke. One of the most outstanding freshman seasons I've seen, especially from a corner. He changed the Clemson game. I think he had 3 picks against Boston College, which, it's Boston College, but still 3 picks. But he is, he was the freshman All-American, and he was locking dudes down. So, I could go up and down the whole roster, but I want you all to get some sleep tonight.
But hey, I love that.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I did the Michigan preview. I was just like, I could go on for hours, but
right.
Yeah.
But hey, absolutely. Let's get to some of the comments real quick. 10-2 by Ben Cornett said 10-2 is a possibility for Notre Dame. Even though both games are at home, Ohio State and USC will be tough.
They'll both be very tough.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And he said
Not
toughest road game is Clemson.
Well, I was just going to say, you got Clemson on the road, you got Duke on the road, Louisville on the road isn't a slouch.
Yeah.
That's a solid schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Very solid schedule.
There's no doubt. I'm looking forward to when we officially jump into it, because I'm sure I'll have one or two shocking things to say about that.
Oh yeah. Well, look, hey. Without further ado, let's go ahead and knock that out right now. Let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
Let's go for it.
Let's see. Let me see. All right, here we go. You see right from the top,
nice.
You have the game overseas. Can you see it, or do you know your schedule?
Yeah, I'm good. I see it.
Okay.
I definitely know game one. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So Navy, geez, man, I'm glad we have all the time to prep for them ahead of time with the triple option. They destroy players.
Yeah.
We have never walked out a game against Navy without 3 or 4 dudes going down. Oftentimes 2 of them for the season. So that's always tough to get all that banged up before the season starts, other than playing them, because there's 11 games after that. I think firepower wise, Navy always gives trouble. Navy always scares me because they play their hearts out. I don't think we should have trouble putting the ball in the end zone against them this year. So not too concerned about Navy, which is a rare thing for me to say over the past 10 years.
Definitely see it as a win. And then you come back to the States and play Tennessee State. Is there any reason to sweat in this game?
I'm not going to sweat, but it is exciting, the game itself. This is the first below Division I game that the Irish have ever played. It's going to be a historic thing. Tennessee State coming into Notre Dame Stadium. I hope the band gets to take the field instead of our band for halftime.
Oh yeah,
but I'm not overly concerned about them as a threat. Look at it as a tune-up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. So definitely start 2-0. But you talk about a tune-up, then you go to Raleigh to play NC State. It's a big noon game. Sam Hartman knows these guys well. What are your thoughts about this one?
This one's one of those sneaky ones that's on here. Robert and Brennan Armstrong reunited.
Oh yeah,
that was a dangerous duo. NC State's been doing their thing for the last couple of years. So I'm not taking this one lightly. But I think at the end of the day, I'm going to give you that cliche that Notre Dame fans always give. And that is, we don't play for conference titles; we play for national championships.
Wow!
So I'm not gonna let NC State scare me too much. I knew that would get Alex.
Yeah, when you're in the Independence, but let's. So
champions of no Independence. What are we talking about?
So hey, right now you're 3-0, coming home to play Central Michigan. Our buddy JT, he'd have some choice words on this one. But Central Michigan is no slouch. But I think one of the bigger things about this is right after Central Michigan, you got Ohio State. So could this potentially be a trap game?
So the Central Michigan game doesn't scare me as a trap game. The Duke game scares me as a trap game. The letdown after playing in Ohio State. I'm not predicting a win, but say we go into Ohio or Ohio State comes in, we beat Ohio State. The letdown factor scares me a lot. I think there's still going to be a lot to prove and a lot to figure out against Central Michigan. The loss against OSU last year, it was a fairly tight game. Yeah, for most of the game. So I think, and Ohio State's had our number for forever. So I think they're going to be doing everything in the world, just like Alex has beat Georgia. I think beating Ohio State is big on the program's mind because we're trying to claim the Midwest, just like Michigan is, and Ohio State has had that hold. Michigan's fighting for it now, but we want to try and stake our claim on it too. So Central Michigan, not saying they can't scare you, but I think we definitely walk out with a W.
Yeah, I think if that one was on the road, then it's a pretty dangerous trap game. But them coming to you guys, I feel pretty confident about that as well.
Yeah, I agree. They're a pretty good team.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So all of us got 4-0 to this point, and then on my birthday weekend, coming to Touchdown Jesus, Ohio State, the Buckeyes. What are your thoughts? I know you just talked about it, but what do you think, man?
It's Ohio State's really interesting, and I'd be interested to hear Alex kind of jump on it after I say what it is I say, just to get an idea of what he thinks. Offensive line is sketchy. Their tackles very sketchy. We're going to be a pretty physical team. They have clearly had some issues, especially with Michigan. Run it right down their throats. I think we're going to have a lot more of that this year, combined with the fact that, they could just load the box last year. Drew Pine, Tyler Buckner was there. Buckner was like his first true start at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Send in the house. It was a tough game, but he stayed in there. I think now we've got someone who can challenge the defense a little bit, and if we can open it up, just like Michigan's done, if we're going to open it up, hit some big shots, and then hand that rock to Estimate 25 times, I think offensively, we stand a chance. The big question comes. Everybody assumes that you plug the next quarterback in at these different places, and they're going to be great. And Day's been really good developing quarterbacks, but it's still a new guy, whichever guy that ends up being. So outstanding weapons, all that good stuff. But it doesn't take, Shane Falco quicksand. It gets you quick, So, a little slide, a little dip, maybe the coach loses confidence in one quarterback, goes the other too quickly. There's a lot of different factors in play. Their defense, Jim Knowles, heck of a coach. He gave us trouble in the second half, the Oklahoma State game, the Fiesta Bowl. We lit them up in the first half. They shut us down in the second half. So good coach, second year. It'll be interesting to see what they look like as well. So I don't have a prediction for it, but I guess my prediction is, I think we can win. And in previous years, that may not have been true, but I think we stack up against them. So they'll definitely be the favorite, but we can do it.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I've got you guys winning this game. Mostly that quarterback battle. I mean, whoever Ohio State's quarterback is going to be has the best set of weapons in college football. You've got the two best receivers. You've got a stable of running backs. The offensive line, like you said, is extremely sketchy, losing both tackles and their center. It's going to be interesting to see how they figure that out. And then you still got guys like JT Tuimoloau. You've got 5 stars all over that defense as well. But, I mean, Notre Dame always plays very good defense. And like you said, the ability of having Sam Hartman back there, and they can't just load the box on you. They've got to play you honest. And to me, this is a matchup of who's at home, how I'm picking this, because it's two very good, very similar teams. So I'm leaning Notre Dame in this one.
Yeah.
I just want to blow the doors off of them like you did at the end of the game last year.
I would love nothing more than for that to happen. I'd love for them to be out of the playoff picture by the time they get to us. So
that would be beautiful.
Please.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. And look, Ohio State plays Indiana, Youngstown State, and Western Kentucky prior to coming in that game. So to your all point about, having this newer quarterback, this will be his first big test.
Yeah.
And that's going to make a huge difference in this. I got you guys winning again. I got you guys winning this one. I think you finally will be able to get over that hump. Then the next – go ahead.
Well, I hadn't paid attention to Ohio State's schedule before that, but that's kind of interesting with – we get the 2 tune-ups, as I said, with Navy and Tennessee State.
Mm-hmm.
But then we got some get-right games.
Right.
Yeah.
With NC State and Central Michigan. So that could be a factor that comes into play for them, too, when they haven't really been challenged up to that point. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And then the following week, you're going to do my team a favor, and you're going to go to Duke, and you're going to whoop that. All right? We don't even need to discuss it. It's going to happen. Let's go.
I do think they'll win.
I'm good with it. But
Yeah.
Mike Elko is a heck of a coach.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah.
And Riley Leonard is no slouch at QB.
Yep.
Wow.
I agree 100%. But not something I'm going to lose sleep over. But if it happened, it would be one of those gut-punching, call out a sick for 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened to Eric? Where'd he go? They lost. I'd be mourning with you, brother.
Yeah.
And then you stay on the road and you played Louisville. Any fear here? They're in transition too, I believe.
Yeah, they've had a lot of turnover. Braum makes points happen, man. So that is a fear. I still think we're good. We should be the better overall team. And they did have a lot of turnover. But as the next team on the schedule proved, a lot of turnover isn't always a bad thing. But Louisville, not super concerned about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys can get that W. However, we know who you had to face those last 2 weeks, and it's a nice little somewhat of a break because you got a gauntlet towards the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
You play USC at home, Pittsburgh at home, then you go to Clemson at home against Wake Forest, Sam Hartman's old squad, and then at Stanford. You look at those 5 games, starting with Caleb Williams at USC, man. Are you shaking? Are you at this point? Do you feel like you're ready? This is the stretch. You win this, you're definitely going to be in that Final Four.
Oh, Caleb Williams. Oh, So Caleb Williams, definitely a heck of a player. Great year. Definitely ticked a lot of people off just with his antics at the end of the year too. He made some amazing plays that were the difference in that game. Similar to what Stroud did against us. You have them against the ropes. They got 1 foot almost out of bounds. They got 2 guys collapsing on them, and they throw a dime. And that happened countless times. We were very, very banged up that game. We had 2 corners that were out. 2 out of the 3 top corners with Hart and Bracey. Brandon Joseph. I'm trying to switch the basketball on you. Brandon Joseph, who was our best safety at the time, was out. And there was a defensive end who I'm slipping on who it was, but that was out that game too. So there were some interesting factors there. USC being the potent offense it is, you're basically losing 3 starting defensive backs is not a good start. With that said, Lincoln Riley comes so close to losing all the time, constantly. Alex Grinch, I don't know why people love this dude as a defensive coordinator. They talk about him all the time. They could score 50 on us, but I think we could score 51 on them. So, Yeah, Williams is definitely a threat, but I think now we have some threats too. So I am not shaking in my boots over USC.
Wee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring back Pete Carroll, and I will be shaking.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I've got you guys winning a close one there. Like you said, USC has no defense.
Yeah.
And I mean, Sean, we did our quarterback rankings a couple weeks ago, and this is what, 1 versus 3 in the quarterback rankings.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
This is as elite of a matchup as you're probably going to get this year.
Mm-hmm.
And man, yeah, I cannot wait to watch the fireworks in this game happen because USC scores on anybody.
Yep.
But yeah, I think you guys will score just a little bit more than they do.
Yep.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I feel like, our quarterback is going to have – they have weapons at USC. There's no doubt about it.
Weapons galore, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he is the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
sometimes teams rely on that a bit too much. So I will regret this in about 3 months.
We will go back to this. Yeah, man, this is a classic QB duel. Everybody's going to be there. The Heisman poll voters and all those guys will be there watching this.
Oh, absolutely. NFL scouts will be there. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty
And-
much any team with a top 15 pick will be there.
Oh, yeah.
And recruits.
Mhm.
Oh,
recruits.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody for this one.
Yep.
Everybody. So you have this one, and then you go play a very formidable Pittsburgh team. And then Clemson on the road. USC is going to be tough, but then you got these other matchups that are maybe not as potent, but are still formidable forces.
Well, they do have the bye in there right after USC, which is perfect.
Oh,
I think that's the perfect time for it. You play them, and then you kind of reset for this last month.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Pittsburgh game. Sean Spencer.
Yes, sir.
There's USC. There's Michigan. There is no one I hate more
Yep.
than Michigan State.
Go green.
And a lot of that is because I can't stand Pat Narduzzi for the life of me.
Yep.
He
Andre.
cries about everything.
Yeah.
His players hit late
Oh,
on
Yeah.
every play. They hold on every play. The year that they were, what was it, like 2013, 2014, they had one loss, and that was to us. The
Yeah.
only reason they lost to us was because we just kept throwing, over the top back shoulder, and they were holding our receivers. Flag.
Yep.
They do that at Pittsburgh now too.
yep.
I've never taken him serious as a coach. I know he's gotten some good wins. I think Pittsburgh is a real potential power in football.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's doing it. I think they talk about how physical Pittsburgh is all the time. I'm not worried about us being physical. So I think we're going to hit them in the mouth pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to out-talent them too. And he cries a lot. And I know he has irked some coaches on the staff and some other people around the program as well. So I think there's going to be a lot of motivation for that game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Can't wait. Yeah, I think you guys got this. Alex, what you think?
Oh, yeah. I don't think that game's going to be overly close. Especially having that bye right there. I think that's going to be perfect timing. Like, if we all think they're going to beat USC, then playing Pittsburgh the next week is a little dangerous because you might be feeling yourself a little too much.
Right.
But having that week to kind of reset, be like, okay, this is the final push. We all have them undefeated. That final push for the playoff, knowing Clemson's still there, and you gotta manage yourself to get there. I think Pittsburgh is kind of that game where everyone's like, okay, they're probably gonna make it.
Yeah, I agree.
And then you go to Clemson. And this is going to be a huge ball game.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you got Clemson, then you got the homecoming, the Sam Hartman game where he plays his old team. So that's 2 back-to-back solids. What are your thoughts about the Clemson one on the road and then coming back to play against Wake Forest?
Yeah, I mean, so Clemson on the road, 100% going to be a night game, right? So that is always scary. Respect the heck out of what Dabo has done. They're always loaded on talent. With that said, this isn't the Clemson of 4 years ago.
Yep.
Now I'm not calling them out because they've got a ton of talent. They've got a excellent, promising quarterback with Klubnik. So there's no lack of that. But they've also had some interesting things like, everybody is working the transfer portal now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dabo wants no part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting disadvantage from that standpoint. Or does it turn out to be an advantage? Not throwing these guys in. With that said, Clemson's loaded. It's a night game. Scares me a lot. And we've beaten them 2 out of the last 3 times we played.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like we're going to be sneaking up on them this time. So that one is probably, to me, the scariest game on the schedule. Yeah. Especially if they have a loss or 2 and start going for it on 4th down.
Mm-hmm.
We know we don't have a chance, so let's ruin your chance.
Right.
Yeah.
Those teams are terrifying. But I've also looked at Clemson's schedule. They're not going to have a loss or 2, so we're okay.
No, they'll probably be undefeated at this point. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This will be another big one. But then the Wake Forest one, that's another one. If you get over that hump, is there a lag? Is there a hangover?
Yeah, senior day.
Yeah.
I think sometimes there are a little bit of a hangover there, or is a little bit of a hangover there. But I don't know a ton about who's replacing Hartman, to be honest with you.
Nothing special.
Okay. But in the same right, even when they were really good or they have been really good, they can't stop anyone. So how they're going to stop Hartman from lighting them up. I just think even if that game goes perfectly for Wake Forest on offense, our defense will get more stops than theirs will. So I think we walk away with a win. With that said, I love Dave Clawson. He's an excellent coach. I'm a big fan of that guy. Whatever he needs to do to win, he's willing to throw it in there. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely got this one. Alex, what you think?
So Clemson, like you said, you guys have won 2 out of the last 3. I think this is an upgrade at quarterback because Klubnik is playing, not Wangalele. You've still got Will Shipley. Like, you've got solid players all over the place. You have to replace a bunch of 5-stars and first-round talent on that defensive line, which isn't great. I think Clemson, night game, Death Valley, I think this is the one loss on the schedule. Now, looking at it there, this is where the other bye week comes in, is after the Clemson game. So I think, again, that's the perfect place, win or lose, that Clemson game to reset and kind of make that last push here. Because most of these other teams that are fighting for this playoff are looking at conference championship games already, kind of looking ahead, where you guys can just kind of be like, okay, at this point, we don't control our destiny, but let's do what we can to give ourselves a chance. And then I think it gets ugly against Wake Forest. I think you guys mop the floor with them. Now, the one thing to kind of, if you're a little worried about this game, is they haven't been able to stop anybody, but nobody knows Sam Hartman better than that Wake Forest defense right now. He practiced against them every day for the last few years.
17 years.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. So there might be that flaw to look at there, but I don't think it's going to mean anything. I think Notre Dame's going to walk them.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they have watched him, so they know, those little tendencies and stuff like that. But I think part of what I lean back to is, he came to us because he wanted to be in a pro style system.
Yeah.
So even though it's the same guy, it's going to be in a completely different package. So
absolutely, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, to your point, though. If he gives any tells or anything like that tips anybody off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Should definitely be interesting. And then you finish off the year at Stanford. How you think you finish it off, man? Think you get that dub?
No, I'm not worried at all about this one. They're going to have 3 people in the stands. A Christmas tree dancing on the sideline.
Right.
But the real reason is I think they lost 25 guys in the portal.
Ooh.
Shaw is gone.
They lost a ton. We got a couple.
Yeah. Shaw's gone. I think that they're going to have a big rebuild.
Yeah.
Biggest part of this is I know everybody thought the Marshall loss was the most embarrassing for us. It was the Stanford loss. It was humiliating and gut wrenching. And I think all those guys remember that. Marshall kind of came out of nowhere. Stanford, that was something that if there's any game on the schedule that I would guarantee we win, it's at Stanford.
Yep.
Yeah.
How to get that dub. So look, with all that being said, come January, like are we playing? Are you in the Final Four? Are you there?
Sean, I cannot be a fan without irrationally finding a way in my mind that my team wins the national championship.
Let's go.
So
if you're undefeated going through that schedule, you guys are absolutely in the playoff, if not potentially the 1 seed.
No,
that's a tough schedule.
Here's my ESPN conspiracy theory. They put us at 4. We played Georgia at 1.
Oh yeah.
I know that's not true, but
I want us to be 2, you guys to be 3. I want that Michigan Notre Dame game again.
That would be so fun. I wanted so bad last year, once the playoffs were set, for a Michigan Ohio State national championship.
Oh, I did too. I mean, I wanted Georgia because I wanted that redemption, the shot at them.
Yeah.
And plus I didn't want Ohio State to win another game. But knowing how the last 2 games went, I was like, yes, please give us Ohio State again. Like let's run that back.
Yeah. Oh, the last 2 times you've played them. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And the fact that they couldn't readjust. They made no adjustment from the previous year to this year. It's like, it happened. It won't happen again.
Yeah.
It happened again.
Yeah, buddy. So, hey, you're in it. Hopefully this will all come to fruition.